Hey there, witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn. Thank you for stopping by my channel. And today is August 22nd, 2019. I am going to discuss quiet desperation. This is something I've experienced many years, my adult years, when I had to take care of myself. And I think it's pretty common. It's something that plagues us humans, and I want to dig into it because I want to give you some ideas of how you can reverse that or change that. Let's see, trying to make enough money to really enjoy life, looking for the right romantic partner. But I seem to always get involved with somebody who's emotionally removed or unavailable in one way or another, or just isn't showing up with respect and empathy. What you would these are things that you would expect from a good romantic partner. I kept finding men who were emotionally immature, who were caught up in their own ego, in protecting their own ego rather than putting into the relationship and building the relationship. So another thing is body image, self-image. Of course, my body was never perfect enough, and it's hard to live up to the models in the magazines and on TV, and so it was that contributed to it. Always wanted to find a better job that would pay me a little bit more money. Later on, I recognized that it wasn't the job, it wasn't the money that was coming in, it was how I was handling the money that was not very wise. And I realized that if I just, as simple as having a budget, keeping up with a budget, would have made a huge difference. So I realized that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be a struggle. Life doesn't have to be a struggle. Yes, we're here to learn. Yes, we're here to experience. And part of that experience is struggle. But I believe from my own personal experience, once I recognized and understood the lesson and knew how to handle it, and I brought my shadow self to the surface, life got so much easier. So much easier. Once I improved my inner self, I recognized that the outer self, the outer reality that I was creating, completely changed and became much more enjoyable, much more safe. And that kind of blew my mind, that I was able to control my reality to that extent. So during this time, I realized that we humans create our reality, and we have self-limiting beliefs. And I struggled with that because, yeah, okay, I understand it now, why? And I recognize that I have some limitations that I put on myself about how good I am, how valuable I am, and how safe it is to be in my power to make choices on my own. Because of my background, and I'm sure a lot of you have similar backgrounds with a religion of one sort or another that is restricting you and keeping you from doing things you feel are good or would be enjoyable or would be interesting to experience. But because of a religious control factor involved in your life, you weren't told not to do those things because it's not Christian, it's of the devil, or it's satanic or evil or something like that. And so it was scary to say, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do what I want. Imagine as a young person telling your parents, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it anyway. And what would happen? I mean, I got punished. I couldn't say, that's not the way I want to do it. That's not how I feel. That's not what I think I want to do. And I would have gotten, I would have been punished. I was not allowed much of a voice in my youth, in my teenage years. I had foster parents, and they were very religious. So I really understand the self-limiting beliefs that hold people inside, that hold them back. And this can create that suffering that the Buddha was talking about, where the Buddha talked about being attached to material things causing suffering, but also swinging from one opinion way out to the side or the other, beliefs that would swing you out to the sides. And he talked about coming into the middle road. That is where you're going to find peace, where it's balanced, where it's acceptable, where we accept each other, where we cooperate, where we work together. So I think what I'm trying to say is that it's really not enough to just be aware of my self-limiting beliefs. Some of them I was able to actually recognize. Every time I try to do X, I feel afraid. And so I could name some of my self-limiting beliefs, but I didn't know why they were there. Where did they come from? What is it that anchors them into my subconscious mind to kick in every time a certain situation would pop up? What's difficult is that what's behind the self-limiting beliefs is your core beliefs about yourself and about what is okay and what is not okay. Your ego wants to keep you safe. That is its job, to keep you safe so you survive. And that allows you to pass on your genes to the next generation. Okay, so the ego is very interested in protecting those beliefs, because those beliefs are what keep you safe and let you survive, help you survive. Unfortunately, the self-limiting beliefs tend to be toxic and tend to come from neurotic, misunderstood, and just plain not true information. The ego is protecting that, and one of the ways it does that is you think something is happening, and the ego gets you to project out onto your reality or the person that you're talking to or the situation or whatever is happening. Project out onto it something false about what is happening. It is their fault that I am unhappy. It is this person's fault that I am unhappy. It is my parents' fault for not nurturing me and not taking care of me properly. It is my parents' fault that they abandoned me or abused me. That is why I'm so unhappy today. We have to get down to the core beliefs, and find out why they are there. Our core beliefs, or any of our beliefs, will be anchored through emotions. So if you had an abusive experience where it was traumatic and scary and it really hurt, then whatever belief developed out of that situation, perhaps it's I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, nobody loves me, nobody accepts me, whatever the belief is, it'll be anchored with the emotions you experienced during that traumatic situation. And the ego wants to prevent that traumatic situation from happening again. And so whatever beliefs were developed are what the ego believes is what is necessary to keep you safe. So the next situation that comes up, even though you're a full-grown adult now, you can walk away, you can call the police, you can do many different things to protect yourself. The ego still thinks you need to put on that belief of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, to keep you from making changes. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds illogical, and it is. And that's the point. The ego is not logical. The ego is running your programs from your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind holds these programs. There's nobody in the subconscious mind to negotiate with. There's nobody to explain that this self-limiting belief does not serve me. I need to change it. there's nobody in there to talk to like that. You can't negotiate, you can't cooperate, you can't, you just have to, the way you have to do it, and the only way I've been able to do it is to find the core belief, the self-limiting belief, the toxic belief, and examine where it came from, the emotion behind that, and then process the emotion and heal the situation by bringing truth to it, bringing light to it. I am not this way. I am not unvaluable, invaluable, unvaluable. I am valuable. So this belief that says I am not valuable is invalid. It's not true. Bringing truth to that belief is huge because you're bringing light to it. And then it's important to, once you acknowledge where it came from, why it's there, what is it creating for you? Did it create a divorce? Did you lose a house? Did you miss out on an opportunity of an incredible job that would have led to an incredible career? Did it block you from romantic partners that would have been wonderful? So there's a lot of examination that needs to take place. Has this belief created? All right. So really just an example is good enough. And then you want to acknowledge that I want to create X. So what is it that you want to create that this belief is stopping you from creating? So I want a romantic partner that believes in me and supports me and is empathic and is loving and mature, emotionally mature, that I can get along with. I understand that this belief is blocking what I want. And then the final act on this process is that you want to develop what people call a positive affirmation, but it's basically the new belief. Okay, it's very simple to say I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Nobody loves me. All right, so then opposite of that, just write it out, the opposite, and make it positive, make it in the present moment. I am wonderful. I am a beautiful being. I express love. I am, and I am is also very good to start out your affirmation. It feels, to me anyway, and really the wording needs to be up to you, but it needs to be wording that really hits your core. I am valuable. I have a lot to give. I am somebody who gives intelligent information. I am somebody who can teach others to better themselves. And these are statements that I can make to myself that will overwrite I'm not valuable, because that's the opposite. If somebody is going to value my my information that I'm bringing across, then I must be valuable. So you kind of have to think that way. It needs to be in the opposite, because if it doesn't match up perfectly, then your subconscious mind isn't going to accept it. And the subconscious is be pretty much logical. You can't really use, avoid using slang when you're programming your subconscious mind, because the subconscious may not acknowledge it or may not understand it. So, but it needs to be impactful, and you'll feel it when you say it. When you say your affirmation, your new program that you want to put in place of the old, you will feel it. It's just an empowering feeling, okay? And then you've got it. Okay, one other thing I wanted to mention really quick is that I worked on myself for years and years and years, and I read books, self-help books, and I tried to do the affirmations, and nothing seemed to really propel me forward very well. And it wasn't until I hired a life coach, and I went through holistic learning centers, that's plural, centers, and I went through their program, and I became a certified spiritual life coach, because if I can make my life better, and it was an amazing program, it was life transforming. And in my mind, if I can do something amazing to myself to make myself better. I want to learn it so I can teach others. That's what I'm here for. That's my life purpose, okay? So I became a life coach, and I recognize that there are people who are struggling. I was struggling. I tried really hard to do it myself, and it works. You can do a lot of work on your own, but it takes so long, and I was just so sick and tired of the quiet desperation, just not getting anywhere, just feeling like, do you ever watch the movie, I think it was called The Office, and it was the movie, not the show, but it showed how frustrating life can be, how you want to get somewhere, and it's just and there's this one scene where the guy's stuck in traffic, and you know how it is when it's really heavy traffic, and you see the next lane over is moving faster, so you jump over into that lane, and then it gets backed up, and you see the lane you just left is now moving, and you jump back over in there, right? And then that gets backed up. So he's sitting there in his car, and this old person on a walker is actually, moving past him very slowly, but the old person is moving faster than he is, and how frustrating that was. So I know how frustrating it is, and I want to reach out to people and make it better. And I put together a course specifically for witches. It's called Self Mastery for Witches, and it's a course. It is 3 months long. Once a week we will meet, and it is basically the lessons that I learned that transformed my life and brought my power back. And so I am offering it. It will start September 4th. So if you're interested, I'll leave some information down below where you can find out a little bit more about me and about this course. There's a syllabus. I threw together a website. I'm sorry, it's kind of skimpy, so I'm still working on it, but you can look at the syllabus there. And there's also another YouTube video that I made. I'll put the link to that down below where I go over the syllabus and what to expect, okay? So if you're interested, take a look and see if you want to sign up and go for it. Okay, so I am going to let you go, and I am so thankful that you watched my video. This is just a wonderful experience for me to share with everyone, and I think that's it. So I love you all, and until next time, blessed be.